here.
You good?
Okay.
All right. So you're born in Newcastle, is that correct?
That's correct.
In 1925.
Mhm.
Your name is Ruby Somers.
Yes.
Were you married?
Twice.
Twice. Good for you. So how many children did you have?
I had 7 children.
You're a busy woman.
I was, and then my oldest girl passed away, and I brought up her 3 boys after my 7. So I was a busy mom.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, there's medal number 2 for you. So you were born in 1925, and I suppose you went to school at...
St. Mary's.
And so did my mother.
Convent.
My mother went there. Well, St. Mary's Academy, when she went there in the 40s. She went to St. Mary's Academy.
For high school?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, she took
The
something...
Villa Teresa
Okay.
High School.
She took something called commercial. I don't, like...
Yeah, she would take that over at Villa Teresa.
Okay.
Where they've just built it, tore it down.
Yes, I remember that building.
Yes, that's where she would go.
Okay, she grew up in Newcastle. She was born in Newcastle as well, because her parents were from Newcastle. They're up by the Northumberland Creamery. So we'll fast forward a bit. In what year did you enter the war?
1943.
Now, I always wanted to ask this question to people because I've never enlisted in the service, so I don't know. So at the time, of course, Britain declared war in Canada, declared war in Germany in 39, I think, late 39. And of course, at that time, we were part of the Commonwealth of Britain. And thousands and thousands of Canadians went over there to support the cause, to fight against the Hitler regime. And I always wanted to ask the question, what made you go over there to go into the service? Why did you do it?
Why did I do it? I think I was very patriotic all my life.
Good for you.
I had 3 brothers already serving. I had 2 in the Navy, 1 in the Army. Oh, the one, Johnny, my brother Johnny, when war first started, he was only 18.
Right.
And he was with the 28th Field Battery.
Okay.
And my other 2 brothers were in the Navy. So when I was 17 and a half, I had gone to St. John. I thought I would like to go and find work there.
Yes.
And I used to think I'd like to be in the service, but I didn't care to go into the Army or Air Force for some reason or other. No. So when I went there and opened the newspaper one day and there was a picture of a wren, and I said, that's what I want to be. So I just went over. The New Brunswicker was right there, and I went over and enlisted. And then he asked me my age, and I said...
You had to be 18?
I had to be 18. So he said, when you're 18, we'll give you a call again and see if you're still interested. Because it was not like the men, they had to go, but we could go or, volunteer. So when I was 18, I had a call from them, and to report if I was still interested to St. John, New Brunswick.
Did your mom and dad know you were going to do this?
Yes,
Okay.
they did, and let me think. I might get straight here.
Okay, all right. So you were 18 and you got the call. Where were you when you got the call? Were you in St.
I
John?
was in St. John, and I was taking hairdressing,
Okay.
a course in hairdressing. So, what was that after?
When they called you, did they say, what did they say? Did they say, are you still willing to enlist, or did they give you a choice of where you wanted to go or anything like that?
No, they told me to come for an examination. This was in St. John.
Physical or mental?
Physical.
Okay.
So I went, and when they asked I was 18 then.
Right.
And so they said, now if I can remember, did I go home first or go right there? I think I enlisted right there, and I went home and got all ready, and first thing I was at the station.
The train station?
My mother was crying. They didn't want me to go because my brothers are already there. Anyhow, I was going to Ontario. I'd never been any further than St. John.
So
As
that
far
in
as-
itself was a big adventure.
Yeah, it was.
Were there other people on the train that you knew that were going up there as well?
I didn't know anyone. I got on the train, and there was one seat left. These were girls that are all going up to Galt, Ontario for training. So there was one there, the double seat thing.
Yes.
Well, there was one left, and I said, is anyone sitting here? And she said, no. So I sat beside her, and she was a girl from Nova Scotia. We became very good friends. Very good, all through the 3 years we were in. And so we got to,
How long did it take to get up there?
well, I know we slept. We had sleepers.
So it's at least 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not 2 days, but
No.
I would say maybe it was nighttime, and we were there in the morning, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, there was.
Kind of forget.
Yeah, I understand.
So long ago.
Were there 10 girls, 100 girls? Like.
Oh, there was a whole truckload of us. And when we got to the station, this big truck was there waiting to load us on.
In the back?
Like sheep.
In the back of it.
Yeah. So we got on there, and they took us out to the base. It was up on that big hill, and there were 4 big buildings up there.
Okay.
One for the officers,
Of course.
special one,
Oh yeah, they're special, all right.
yeah, and
So these were like dormitories or barracks, or like were they multi-storied or?
they were multi.
Yeah.
And
Did they give you a?
They were flat, because I can remember going up and suntanning on top of the roof. They're bathing suits.
Well, why not? So, did they give you a uniform right off the bat? Did they give you something to wear that was in the service?
Yeah, they brought us in with the I forget the names of them now, but the special name for this big store. It was like a store, and they gave us one of everything that we needed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you went maybe in a single file and stopped here to get a hat or shirt or whatever it is that you wanted.
That's right.
Okay. Were you nervous at this time? Were you excited,
no.
nervous?
I don't know what I was. I think I was just wondering what I was doing. Hey, up here.
From from a little place called Newcastle.
Yes. So, they gave us, we had dorms.
Yes.
And they gave us, we all had a cubicle.
Right.
And there was 2, 4, 6 bunks in them. We had bunks.
Yes.
And then on the other side were our wardrobe where we put our
Your clothes.
clothes.
So what kind of what did they do with you? What was the training there?
Oh, we trained. We let me see, dear.
Bring it over. Come on.
It's a letter that you wrote to your parents, and it tells where you were engulfed.
That's here. Take.
Jay, you were good looking, weren't you? I mean, we gotta show that to the camera. Look at the good looking girl.
Uh-huh.
Those are the pictures that.
Yes.
That's my husband. He was overseas.
Wow.
We weren't married then. Just going together. It's my 2 brothers.
And they were in the service too.
Yes,
Yeah.
2 they were both in the Navy.
Wow.
Arthur and John.
I'm gonna show that to the camera. Wow. 39 Christmas.
That's my brother that was over for this 5 years. Johnny.
So the picture was taken in 39.
Uh-huh.
This is you as well?
Uh-huh.
Look at that girl.
I don't know.
Look.
Gorgeous.
It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You must have been kind of popular with the guys, were you?
Well, I was going steady and had promised to wait for my husband. He wasn't my husband then.
Well, you know, you got to try a few apples before you commit to an apple. You got to try a few. October 23rd, 1943.
That's the exact day.
Galt, Ontario. Dearest Mom and Dad. May I read it?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything
No.
in there.
You're good.
Whatever you don't want, we won't put it in. Dearest Mom and Dad, here are a few snaps of the main buildings around Galt. It really is a lovely place. I was out there today for the first time, and I don't know what that word is. It's to the I went to the. Maybe you can read it. Can you read it?
Yeah,
Want me to read it?
Mom can
Well,
probably read it.
sure, you read it.
Yeah.
Sure. I didn't want to tax you there, but sure.
I like it. Where were you?
You start from the beginning because I did such a poor job. We're going to start again.
Okay. Dear Mom and Dad, here are a few snaps of the main buildings around Galt. It really is a lovely place. I was up there today for the first time, and I also was to the Beaver Club. That was a place for any veteran,
Enlisted people?
enlisted, soldiers, sailors, didn't matter.
So it was open to men and women as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It really is interesting, Mom, and I like it more every day. I also was out for my first real drill this morning, and I just love it.
Really? At 18, you had all energy in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow is Sunday, and can't even. Tomorrow is Sunday, and we have Mass right here on ship. So it isn't that. So isn't that nice, Mom? And the chaplain is very nice. Well, good night, Mom and Dad, dear. And please, write often. Can't even understand my own writing.
Well, that was a few days ago. I think we can excuse that if you can't read it.
Of love. Please write often. Loads of love to you both and dear Kay. That was my sister. Your loving daughter, Ruby.
Were you lonely?
I was terrible lonely first month.
I would be too.
Oh, it's my brother, Johnny.
Here?
Yeah.
Look at the old car, eh?
Yes. Just before he went overseas.
Ooh. Could you drive at that time? Could you drive a vehicle? Did you have a license? No? Okay.
No, I didn't. I was a petty officer there.
Here?
Uh-huh. My petty officer.
Did you like him?
It's her.
Oh, it's a her. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Short hair, I couldn't tell, eh?
Uh-huh. And the big hats they had at first. We had 3 different styles of hats.
Could you pick the one you wanted, or
No.
No, eh?
They just changed from time to time.
Yeah, when they felt like it.
Yeah.
Just a few lines to let you know I am well and hoping the letters will find you soon.
Who was that too?
Well, I don't know. It's Somers. I don't.
Oh, that was to Miller.
Was
to
it?
My husband. Well, he was just my boyfriend there.
Yeah. And where was he stationed?
He was overseas, Germany, fighting.
Holy
And
moly!
his brother, or his best friend, was right beside him. He was shot. Very sad. And they were such good friends, you know.
Never get
It
over that.
affected him
Never get over
terrible.
that. Wow. Were they strict over at the training camp? Like, did you have to get up a certain time? And
Oh, you had to be just your shoes shining like a. It's my little sister with me.
Isn't that nice? Yes, sir, Bob.
Only had the one sister. That was the priest.
What was his name? Do you remember his name?
Father. Guttural, I think, or something like that.
Did they have a priest as well as a minister for any other
Oh,
faiths?
yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And who is this here? Who's getting married?
Oh, that was my petty officer, the one that.
Okay.
This picture here,
Yes.
the war was over, and this girl was from Newfoundland, and she didn't want to go back to Newfoundland, so I said, "Well, come home with me."
Really?
Never asked my mother enough. I just said, "Just come home with me until you get your call for hairdressing." We were going, both wanting them
Yeah.
hairdressed.
How long did she stay with your parents?
I think it was about a month before we got our call, and then we went to St. John.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my brother and I. He was in the Merchant Navy.
Were you able to write letters to your brother?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's my brother's son.
And where did this poem come from? Where did this come from?
It's my brother. My brother, that was his son.
Your brother wrote this?
No.
No.
It was their, what would you call it?
Yeah,
Their-
their rally cry or something.
Yeah.
Who worsted the Huns in many a fight? Who convoyed the goods to every front? Braved every danger and bore the full brunt. Froze in the Arctic, starved on the sea. Who died in their thousands that we be free. No thought for themselves when grim death was seen. They died at their post. Did the merchant marine. When D-Day dawned over Normandy's shore, who took the troops there and went back for more? Manned the armada that sailed on each hour and ferried the army that struck with such power? Who proved their proud title, the bravest, the best? The fourth arm of the service, good as the rest. The great merchant navy, no better there's been. The war's greatest heroes, the merchant marine. June 12th, 1944, by Colonel John McCourt.
And that other one, that was my second husband.
I know.
Married him in our 70s.
Really, eh? Yeah, good for you, eh, girl?
We knew each other.
And this is you here as well.
Yeah.
Right?
That was their second marriage.
Right. You as well, yeah, him.
Yeah, that priest, Father Arsenal, married us.
Arsenal, okay. I was a choir boy at St. Patrick's Church for many years.
Were you?
Yeah, oh yeah. I knew a lot of the
Well,
priests.
you must know Sharon.
I'm sure I do. But I can't go to church anymore because my back is so bad I can't
Oh.
go to church. It just kills me. So this might have been when the war was over.
That's exactly taken in Halifax. And they nearly destroyed the place.
Well, you know, you kind of deserved to have a good time, didn't you? Kept the world free. That we can give you.
Those are my three boys. The three boys my daughter had when she died. This one and the other two.
Your three boys. Good looking family, eh?
Yeah. There's two teachers. No, one teacher.
Yeah.
And one lives in the States.
Hmm.
Tom's he was a prison guard or prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a friend of mine, Dell. She passed away last year.
So I'll ask the stupid question because that's what I'm good at. HMCS, what's that stand for?
His Majesty's Canadian Service.
You know, if I did this, I would be so proud that I did the right thing. I would be so proud. And this is you as well. Is that
Yes.
my? Okay, we'll go on with the story a bit. So you're up in Ontario. How long did you train there?
3 months.
And what did you train
I
to
was a
do?
wardroom attendant.
For a hospital? Ward?
No, it's we worked in the officers' place.
Yes.
They're a big building, and we it's just like being, I suppose, I don't know. We just worked.
You just did whatever they told you to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you looked on the bulletin board in the morning, and you'd see what you had to do for the day.
It was always a surprise. You get up
Yes, didn't know what. Someday you'd be probably sitting on the phone all day.
and okay.
Just whatever wherever they put you, you went.
So you were there for 3 months, and then what happened?
Then I was I was transferred to Cornwallis, Nova Scotia.
You're right.
I shouldn't be going through all this.
Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Absolutely, you should.
And I'm not on camera, I hope, am I?
Well, this is recording it, but as I said before, I'm going to give you a copy and her a copy, and you can decide what to do with it. If you want to keep it to yourselves, that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Don't worry about it ever getting out. Unless you say yes and she says yes, it'll never get out. Never. I just want to record your story, you know, so in 50 years, your great-great-grandchildren can have a memento of what you
My
did.
goodness. They'll think I'm awful stupid because I sound kind of.
Wow, you don't.
It was a long time
But I'm
ago.
97.
7. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm kind of digging through things maybe you haven't thought of for many, many years.
I used to write a lot. I get lots written.
So you were in Cornwallis, and how long were you there for?
I
do you
was
know?
there for 1 year. Cornwallis for a year. And then I was posted to HM's, no, Betty and I, we looked on the wall one day and they were looking for rents for overseas. So we looked at each other
Oh my goodness.
and we just said, that's where we want to go. So we signed up to go overseas.
So did you tell your parents after, or did you ask them? Or
No, I didn't.
you just did it yourself?
Just did it.
Oh
And,
my.
well, we thought we were going to get right overseas, but Newfoundland was overseas at that time.
Right, they weren't part of
They
Canada
weren't part of Canada.
until 49, I think.
Yeah,
Somewhere around.
59, wasn't it?
Maybe 59.
50 something.
Okay.
Anyway, we, oh my gosh, if I wasn't,
That's where you ended up.
uh,
Yeah.
so that's where we went.
So at that time, Newfoundland was really, it was a colony of Britain. Is that right?
That's right. And it was the worst trip I ever had.
'Cause you went over, obviously you went over on a boat.
Well, yes, on a ship. We don't dare call them boats.
Okay. We'll never use the B word again.
No, they were ships, great big ships. And we had to go to Halifax. Where was I from? Cornwallis
Cornwallis to Halifax.
to Halifax, and then to
Must have been St. John's, Newfoundland.
St. John's, Newfoundland, HMCS Avalon was the name of our ship.
My.
Yeah.
So
So I
Halifax
was
is,
there for another year.
so if you went enlisted in 42, 43,
43.
so it would now be 44 or
Yeah, it was Christmas 44
the end of 44.
that I was on the seas. Christmas 44. And sick the whole time. I never got it off my cabin bunk. So anyway, we
How many days were you at sea?
well, remember the submarines.
Yeah, it was a big
It was
U-boats.
Sometimes
They
you
would-
had to take another route, like, or something. So there must have been something, because we were there 2 days, 2 nights, I think it was.
With pretty rough water. Rough.
Rough. Wow. I was so sick.
Oh my. And then I suppose while you're sick, you're thinking, what did I get myself
Yeah,
into?
what kind of a sailor am I?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mom, you were saying about you all being on, waving goodbye on
oh
the ship.
yes. We were on, when we started from Halifax,
hmm
we were all out there singing away all our Navy songs. yeah, just and first thing you saw one leave and then another leave. I'm getting seasick.
Dropping like flies, eh?
Yeah, it was funny.
It was a big, large ship, eh? Large boat.
Oh, yeah,
Was it
big ship.
was it a battleship or was it a
Like it had sailors and wrens on it that were being posted there.
okay?
It was filled.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was a big ship. I can't remember. Did I say the name of it?
HMSC Avalon, wasn't it? Or,
That
no,
was
that's
the
radio
name for
station.
our base.
Yeah, you said it before, but I've forgotten already what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Anyway, so you were there at St. John's for a year.
For a year. I loved it over there. They had, it was so much easier. We didn't work as hard.
Okay.
We had time off, time wore off, and there's a beautiful place that we could sign up for a bike for the day
Right.
when we had our day off,
Right.
and just go out to this
Go up to
Bowering Park.
the Battery. Was it called the Battery or
No, Bowering.
Bowery.
Bowering Park. It had a beautiful lake there, and it was just a beautiful spot to go and picnic, or so we'd take a lunch and away we'd go on our bikes out for the afternoon. Had to be back by certain time.
So there was a curfew. If you went out during the day, you had to be back at a certain time.
Oh, yes. And we would you could apply for a 48 hour
Pass.
or a 72.
Hour pass.
Yeah, once a month I think it was.
Once a month. Really?
Uh-huh.
Were you able to mingle with the guys, or was it strictly all girls, or were you able to go to a club and have a drink with guys?
Oh, if you drank, I didn't drink.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But you danced.
What?
You danced.
Were there dances there?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I went to a few dances
A few
with
dances?
the girls. Yeah,
Uh-huh. You must have made some good friends there.
I did. I don't know what it was, because I had made the commitment to my husband, or he wasn't my husband. He wasn't. We were just boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that bothered me. No, I didn't want to go out on the
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Very faithful.
So I would have had a better time if I hadn't had it.
Maybe you shouldn't have been such a good girl. How many girls were on the base? Around this
Oh, well, there was
hundreds? 10? I don't know.
yeah, there was more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a great big building.
And what did you do when you were there? Did you train? Did you do...
Yeah, we were out on the parade ground a lot, and I loved it. I loved it at the parade ground. Loved to march. One time they took us out. Well, this was after we'd done our 3-month training.
Mm-hmm.
They took us. We were waiting for her to waiting for to be transferred. So one of the petty officers took us out on a little route march, 5 miles.
A little march? That's not a little march.
So we,
That's a long way.
after we get out in where there was no homes or anything in the country,
Yeah.
we get singing these songs. It was fun.
Just to add a little fun to it.
Yeah.
And they would have given you army boots or whatever it is, like
Oh, we'd be all dressed in their uniform.
on uniforms. 5 miles?
Yeah.
You chose to walk 5 miles?
March.
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 Holy moly.
With the petty officer. He'd take us out.
Were they kind to you, the officers? Were they
Oh, yeah. Well, they had to be strict, you know. They didn't want you out there fooling around when you're marching. But it was good training. Yeah.
so this would have been, well, you said Christmas of 44. And what happened then? You were there for a full year from 40?
Full year. When one morning I woke, I heard the loudest noise outside, and I looked at the window, and everything was flying in the air. And the war was over. The war was over in that sailors, they just had everything, balloons and everything else up in the air flying. They were so happy.
Yes.
Yeah. And we were all happy it was over. We'd be going home.
So you went home after that?
Went back to, where did I go? No, it wasn't right away. Just, let me think now.
I thought you were going to be sent somewhere else, and then you.
Yeah, we sent to Halifax. We came back and shipped to Halifax. And we were there, I think, 2 weeks. When my discharge came through. And the funny part of it was, Betty's come through first. And mine come through, I was going to post it out to British Columbia. I just wanted to go home so bad. But then the next time I looked at the postings, I was being discharged. So I was a happy little wren.
So
Betty was the lady that you met on the train that night, right, Mom? Betty was the friend that you met the first night you get on the train?
Yeah, Betty.
So you just went through everything together?
Yeah.
wow.
But she got married.
Yep.
While she was in the Navy.
Service, yeah.
Yeah. To a sailor.
So now we're into 45. The war is over in I think May. I'm not sure. Around May, 1945. Germany surrendered, and then you went from there to Halifax, and then you were discharged. And then what did you do?
I came home.
Yeah.
Came home. And I never heard from my boyfriend for about 8 months.
You must have been awful worried.
I was. I thought he just didn't care anymore.
Right. Yeah, everybody would, in that position, would imagine the worst.
Yeah. Anyway, the first thing, after I was taking hairdressing. And I used to follow in the paper because they used to put the names in the paper of those who were on the next ship coming home. So one day I looked in the paper and his name was there. So I said, I have to go home. So I got a weekend to come home. And his mother called me and she told me that she was going to the train to pick him up and would I like to go with her. So I went with her. And why am I telling this story?
You can tell any story you like. It's your story. That's all that matters. It's your story.
And
That's all that matters.
It's a love story, man.
Yeah, my love story. Anyway, I didn't know if I wanted to go or not, because I didn't know if he'd want me there, if he'd have a girlfriend or what.
Just a little stressed out you must have been at the time.
Yes. Anyway, I went. I said, yes, I'll go with you. And the minute he got out that train, it was just like we'd never been apart. He had been in the hospital all this time. That I hadn't heard from him, and I didn't even know. So, the next thing you know, that was in what year?
45.
Oh, I'm kind of mixed up. 45.
Did he come back in 45? Did your boyfriend come back?
46.
46.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we were married October 23rd, 1946.
When you saw him coming from the train, you must have cried. I would have cried.
No, I didn't.
You didn't cry?
He just took when he got in the car, he just took my hand and held it so tight.
What was he in the hospital for?
His nerves went on him after his friend got killed right beside him.
Oh yeah.
He just
Yeah.
went to pieces. And he was from here, Billy done it.
Look at that, eh? Who paid for the wedding dress? Did you pay for it? Were you working at the time?
No, we got gratuity money, and it wasn't supposed to be a wedding dress. I was buying it to go to a dance or something.
Well, it's a wedding dress now.
It was a wedding dress. And my daughter that passed away, she got married in the same dress.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 46. And where did you live after? Did you come back to Newcastle? Or where did you go?
Here's where the fun begins.
When you got married in 46, where?
I went to so many, I lived in so many places on this area.
But you come back to New Brunswick, did you?
Oh yes, we never left after I come home.
You never left the Miramichi then?
Never left.
Yeah, well, good for you.
Oh, I mean, I went on different trips now.
Oh yes, oh
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, to
You're
live,
right.
to live.
Right.
We stayed. And that's the two of us up there. And that's him in the bottom one.
Well, I have to take it
It's him and I. When we were home on leave one time, we just boyfriend, girlfriend,
Uh-huh.
and that's my family.
Mm-hmm.
That's him down there after we were married. He was working in the woods, cutting wood.
Holy moly, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. So when he was in the woods cutting wood, did you see him only?
Well, I was with him. He built a little cabin down in the. Where was it?
Was it Black River? Is that what the first one was?
Huh?
Black River?
Black River.
So you saw him every night?
Oh, he'd come home every night.
Okay.
He just worked in the woods for his uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not nice, eh? You look very happy there.
I was.
Were you?
Yeah. I was home and leave.
And that's that's Mom's family. All her brothers and sisters, her mom and dad, and that's Dad's discharge papers and all that stuff.
Oh, well, there's only one thing to do. Okay. Oh, well, I gotta take this off here. Oops. Break something. Yeah, it's the sunlight. I can't help that.
Here, I'll close
No, no, it's okay.
You
It's
sure?
all right. Yeah, it's all right. Huh. So who is this lady here? Who's this?
It's my mom. My mom and dad.
Isn't that interesting? Alrighty then. Well, look at that, eh? Look at that. Wow.
And John, I'll just tell you, I hit every place that my mother was stationed. I went to every place.
Did you?
Every one of them. Took me a few years, but I got there.
You got there, right?
It was quite an experience.
I would think so.
And Margie just passed this to me, and she had it. She had it as my Christmas gift,
Yes?
and
Oh, gosh.
as my medals.
Oh.
Oh, I cried when I saw how nice they had made them, because they were all dull and like in that picture there.
The one of my uncles, one of my mother's brother was in the Navy, and that was Irving Ramsey. He was
Irving?
Yes.
Oh, I loved him.
You can't say that.
I know, I can't, but I did. Him and I were good friends.
I bet you were.
I loved him as a friend, like, you know.
Yeah. I heard that before too.
Oh, he was so sweet. He really was.
Yeah, he was a very special man, and there was Tinker Ramsey. We called him Tinker.
Yes.
And Visey Ramsey.
The whole bunch. Well, what are they to you?
They are my mother's brother. My mother's brothers. My mother was a Ramsey. And
What was her first name?
Julia.
God, I remember her so well.
I knew you knew them.
Yes, Novilda and all them.
Yes?
Yes, I went to school with Novilda.
Holy Thomas.
Holy mackerel, isn't that something?
Velda she was a nice lady.
She was sweet.
She was nice.
A nice lady, she was.
I was born a twin. I have a twin brother, James. When we were born, my mother, Julia, was so bad shape, they kept her in the hospital for 6 months.
Oh.
And I went down to Nelson for 6 months with my mother's sister, Rita Dolan. And
Rita, I remember Rita. Rita Dolan.
And James went over to Newcastle to Avilda, or maybe one of the others. I forgot now. And he was there for 6 months. And I was with Rita Dolan for 6 months because my mother was in bad shape.
And your mother was?
Julia English.
Julia, yeah, she's a big lady.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember her well. And Velden, oh God, and what's his name? He was married to I used to pick her up. We were together at the church on bereavement. When somebody died,
Mm-hmm.
we would prepare the lunch. I would always pick her up. Lived on Radio Street.
So you would have gone to the Catholic Church in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
You knew them all then.
I knew them like brother, like they were my brothers and sisters. I knew them so well. Yeah, and Ben.
There's a Bisey Ramsey, one of the brothers, and their father was Ben Ramsey and Claire Ramsey. That was their parents.
Claire, see, there is French in there, eh? 'Cause my mother was French.
Yes, my grandmother, my mother's mother, was French.
Yeah.
She had her sister stay with them down on Ramsey Street in their house, and this her sister couldn't speak English, but my parents would take myself and my twin brother over there on the weekends, and they would sit around and talk, and the Aunt Dinama was her name, and she just Dinama, Aunt Dinama.
Oh.
Anyway, she'd sit in the chair and rock, and if someone come in and she didn't like, she'd start cursing them in French.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny?
I don't think she
That
swore,
you would
but
be-
she would just talk to herself, and only her sister would really understand her. She could say anything to any of us, and we wouldn't know what she's saying. No idea.
God.
No idea. Anyway, so you knew the Ramseys well then.
Oh, well. Vilda and I were in the same class every year. Vilda would laugh so hard.
She loved to laugh. And you could hear her laugh.
Oh, yes.
You could hear her down across the road. You could hear Vilda laugh.
She'd find something funny in school class. She'd start laughing out loud. And she'd have to scold her.
Oh well. Yes. Oh
my
well.
God.
So it was 46, and your husband built a log cabin where he was cutting wood,
Yeah.
and so you saw him every night.
Mm-hmm.
And when did the kids start coming through?
Oh, I had two
Okay.
already, Van
Right.
and Judy, and they're both gone.
Are they?
He just died this year.
Okay.
Van,
Yes.
did you know Van?
No, I didn't know Van.
No.
No.
And Judy was married to Tommy Burns.
I know that name for sure.
Well, Tom Burns is their son. He's coach, and
Yes.
he's the guy that works
Yeah.
in prison. That's mom's. She raised him.
He's a coach in hockey. Is that right?
No, that's Andrew. Yeah, Andrew
His
coaches
brother.
hockey and ball, and Tom coaches ball and volleyball and basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But Tommy Burns, he was a referee. Their father, he was a referee at the rink a lot of the times throughout the years.
yeah, I know that name.
Yeah,
I'm sure I know that name.
Yeah.
So after 46, you moved around quite a bit. You said you lived in different places.
20, for sure.
20. 20. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Did you go because he needed work, or did you follow the work, or you just wanted somewhere
Just-
different?
Well, no, I don't know why we just moved. You know, maybe the children started coming more, and we need more room.
You need a bigger house. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
but the kids were born when? Like Van and Judy were born in what years?
Van was born in
47.
47. Judy was born in 49.
Yeah.
And then I had 6 years before Sharon came along. And then they followed. She's the baby.
She's a baby.
She's my baby.
Wow. So you're very close to her.
Close to every one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love them all.
I'm her baby.
Oh, yeah. But you keep saying you're the baby.
I am the baby.
You're the baby.
Yeah. No, I seriously. No, Sharon's the next one. I am the baby.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
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 It's
I'm-
Van and Judy, Sharon, Ronnie, Terry, Darlene, and then me.
So you must have stayed home full time to look after a crowd like that.
I had to work.
Well, work. How could you work?
Well, I had to. Had to,
Good work.
because Miller couldn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't in any
Yeah.
condition to
Yeah.
hold a job for very long.
The house I bought in Blackville, his name, the owner back then was, during the war, the owner was Reg Price. And he was in a Jeep in Germany during the Second World War. And the Jeep hit a landmine or was blown up by something, and it flipped him. And he had a bad concussion. And he was never right afterwards. And after the war, they gave him a job up at the Renews ammunition depot. He did it for a year, but he couldn't do it.
What a shame.
And it affected him for the rest of his life.
Bless his heart.
Like the sacrifices your generation did is something that is very hard for us to understand, because it's beyond anything we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
You know, you just made your mind up there was a problem in the world, and it was going to affect our country if you didn't put a stop to it. And you and your brothers, and you just put your head down and you did what you had to do. Come hell or high water, you didn't know how it was going to turn out,
No, we didn't.
and it didn't look good until 43, 44. I mean, the Battle of Britain was the only real turning point for progress, for optimism. Nothing happened before that. The Battle of Britain occurred in 1940, late 40s, 1940. That was the first time the British had any hope they could ever beat the Germans.
When? Why?
I think it was 1940, the Battle of Britain.
Yeah.
And Canada sent over thousands, tens of thousands of people, and ships and ammunition and wood and you name it, we sent it over.
Oh, yeah.
Halifax was a booming port back then. That's where the main convoy left, usually from Halifax,
Yes.
to see if they could make it across the pond. And 41 1942, the U-boats sunk a lot of our merchant marine, a lot of them, and we lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm so impressed with, is what your generation did, because it was the right thing to do.
It's true. I don't think of it like that, but it's true.
That's exactly what happened.
Mm.
I mean, if the younger generation in their 20s now, I suppose 18 to 25, say, if we had a catastrophe and they were called to go to service, I don't think they would volunteer as quickly as your generation
No.
did.
No, they wouldn't.
So, you know, that's what impresses me most, is your commitment and service, and none of you thought, you know, you didn't know how the end was going to come, either win or fail. You didn't know. You just did what you had to do.
Yeah.
You know, come hell or high water, you did what you had to do. And that's a very impressive thing to do. Right?
Very selfless people.
Extreme. John F. Kennedy called her generation the last great generation for that very reason.
Yep, absolutely.
That's, you know more than I do.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You
But
sure do. Because when you're in it, you don't hear tell of anything. You know, when
No.
you're just going by orders and
you put your head down and just bear your way through it.
uh-huh.
So it was a very
Wait for it to
courageous.
end.
Wait for what?
Wait for it to end.
Yeah. And nobody knew when that was going to be.
No.
So this is why I wanted to come down and talk to you today. This
Yeah.
is why I sent you flowers.
Thank you so much. Very kind. You're a very kind person.
Tell John about your trip to Holland.
You took a trip to Holland?
Yeah.
When?
19.
When I was 38.
Uh.
You were 70, because when you get home, you had you celebrated your 70th birthday.
So around 1990, roughly?
She's got your book. She writes everything down.
She's a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be. I loved reading.
One of my older brothers went to Holland with her, and her best friend Marjorie, and our Uncle Clifford. We called him Uncle Clifford.
Mhm.
He was a cousin of ours, Uncle Clifford.
Right.
And it was the big thing that year, Mom.
I don't know if I have it on.
When the Canadians went up through Holland, still to this day,
Mm-hmm.
they just almost worship us.
Yeah.
Because they were
Oh,
starving.
they do.
I know, it's terrible.
The Russians tried to starve them out.
Yeah,
And before that, they went looking for Jews and
Yeah.
took them away.
that's right. And
Yeah,
Mom's dad is
that's-
from Holland. That's where he's from.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
My dad, yeah. I'm part Dutch.
Well, maybe that's why she's so good looking. Eh?
Hey,
I don't know.
Oh,
We
my.
were 70,
That's,
so.
that's my little book. I had
Let me see.
written some things in it for my trip to Holland. You wouldn't be interested in it.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
1995.
Okay, 95.
95. Because you were 70. About there.
2 suitcases, 1 tote bag, and a camera. And a passport.
Yep.
That's what you took. I think it says Lake Pinchafa. Not sure what it says. Near Ernenwald. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Clear I can't speak Dutch. So what made you go to Holland? Why
I
Holland?
wanted to, because of my grandparents. I thought I'll meet one of my relatives there.
Did you meet them? Someone? Anyone?
No, not one.
Really?
They're all gone, eh?
You said 95?
I thought 95.
Yeah.
Because you turned 70. Remember the celebration at the Legion?
Mm-hmm.
That was when you were 70, and you had just come back from Holland, you and Ronnie. These are both tanned up so nice, wasn't even funny.
And I brought my son with me, Ronnie.
Oh, wouldn't that be special?
Yeah.
Eh?
And it was a big crew. There was a big crew of veterans, wasn't there, Mom?
Huh?
Was there a big crew of veterans?
Oh, yes.
There was a lady singing war songs. It was a very emotional time for some soldiers. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Those, everything they had for us was emotional.
Some were wiping their eyes, remembering that 50 years ago they were coming in to fight and liberate the people. Oh, boy. Makes me very emotional.
Yeah.
Very. Do you have any regrets going into the service?
Never.
Never, eh?
Never. I'm so proud to think that I went. Very proud.
So you should be.
We're very proud.
Yes.
Children.
Yes.
Yeah.
For, when you think about it, for a 17-and-a-half-year-old to want to go into the service and go
When I
to
think of it now.
and to go to St. John from a little place called Newcastle,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of guts. It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I know. I remember how I felt.
Mom, is this one of the pictures from Holland? Like, is that when you and Ronnie in Holland, or
Who's that?
you and Ronnie? Is that when you went?
I think. I'm not sure.
No, you can just show John that picture. That's my brother that went with Mom, and that's when you were. I don't know for sure, but I think so.
Looks about 25 years ago, maybe. But I'm not sure, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Well, yes, because here the pictures are right here. When you come, this is when she came back. That's when you turn 70, and that's Mom and her 3 grandchildren that she raised, and there's the family over there. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So that's when you come back from Holland.
Yes, sir.
Here, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Part of this says a part of his speech that I remember was that the Canadians at that time in the war were fighting for survival. They did not feel then that they were Holland's liberators, but only for the war to come to an end so they could go home.
every one of them, I imagine.
They just did their job.
Yeah.
I said to the Rotary Club member that is true, but if the Canadians had refused to fight at that period of time, they, meaning Holland, would probably not be there.
They wouldn't be.
No, would they?
My grandparents were part of the ones that they marched them. My grandparents.
And that's them on the wall up there.
Yeah. That's
Up the big picture. That's Grampy's parents. They were pushed. Their mom pushed out and stuff.
yeah, everybody knows what happened to those poor people.
Oh.
And my dad had that picture in his shop, his shoe shop, when I was a little girl. That's how old that is.
So that could be 90-some years old, at least.
Oh, yes.
More than that. Because Grampy had it before you come along.
Oh, yeah.
It's a remarkable life. Remarkable life.
I think so.
I
And
wish
I'm
we
still here.
Yes, you were.
I
Yep.
wish we could share with, like, because there's so many memories that Mom has, and she, as the days, throughout the day, she'll sit and talk about when you were skating with one of the sailors, and like just
The stories would leak out.
yeah, and then she would share with those, and she'd share stories about Dad and her, and and her parents and her brothers, and
It's just over little. That won't fall.
Remarkable life. Remarkable.
Oh, I had a good life, No complaints. I feel.
We all have, don't we? We all have some things that were not so nice. But I want to thank you for seeing me.
I'm happy now that you came. I was kind
Well, so was I,
of.
because the only other interview was a girl I interviewed in, like I say, 2017, because she worked at a lumber camp and remembered my father, who was a forest ranger at the beginning. And that was the only interview I ever did. So I cannot predict how any interview is ever going to go,
No, for sure.
because you don't know how the person feels. You don't know what
Especially at my age, because I've forgotten.
yeah.
One time, if you had interviewed me, I'd be able to tell you right off.
Well, I'm glad to capture as much as I did. I mean, for me to learn is to learn about your generation is a special thing, because I can't do it with my parents because they're gone now.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the sense enough when I was young to
Well, who does?
ask questions, but now I have a bit more sense, and I can appreciate what people did before me to allow me to sit in this chair as a free person.
Imagine, she's in there with tears.
And that's the truth of it.
yeah, that is the truth.
You helped save the free world. That's what you did.
Oh,
It might be the biggest accomplishment in the last 1,000 years. The First World War was bad, but the Second World War was not any better.
oh, it's horrible. The first one is terrible too. first one.
Oh, poison gas?
Yes, and I remember two brothers. They used to come to my dad's shop, and they were both, they had been gassed so bad over there that they didn't have their common sense anymore, and all they did was go and try and get money to get to drink.
Yeah.
That's all they did. God bless them. And they used to come to the shop, and Dad would always give them a little bit money. You know, maybe I don't know.
They should have had a lifelong pension for what they went through.
Oh, they had nothing.
Nothing?
I don't think. Maybe. Well, why would they be able to always?
Well, if they had a full-time pension to allow them to afford to live, they wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't have to do
They
that.
wouldn't do that.
No.
And that's the thing that I can't understand how governments can throw people into war, and then when it's over, I can't understand it.
Not look
They
after
disband.
them.
The only reason the government even existed after the war is because those people went and laid down their mental, their physical. They gave everything.
They
Everything.
gave their own life. So many of them.
You know, and why shouldn't the survivors, the mothers that were left behind, or whoever, sisters, parents, whatever, why shouldn't they be compensated for the loss?
Yeah.
Dad had an awful time trying to get
Oh, Dad
our
did.
father, and it was a long time and a hard fight. And he was, how old was he, Mom, when he finally got?
That's-
Well, that's when we could buy a house once he got a pension.
Yeah, and this is the house they bought.
He had to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right.
No, it's not.
And he really had a condition, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't stay at a job. His nurse wouldn't allow him.
Well, some people were affected for life in the mind. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
That's right.
So I want to thank you. I'm gonna wrap it up now. I don't want to take any more of your time, but I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Sometimes people, I don't even think of it myself that that I served my country, but
you did.
I did.
Your brothers did.
My brothers.
And your parents sacrificed, saw them go off, and you go off, and not even knowing the outcome, not even knowing if you're going to make it back alive.
I know. Especially after we signed up for overseas, because we knew we'd have to cross waters where the submarines were. Germans. God bless them, they lost a lot of people too. Just because of Hitler.
That's
One
all.
man,
That's
one
all.
person.
One person.
That's just
Well, he
terrible.
came to
shame.
power, and he really got his power in '33, and then he kind of lifted the country out of the Depression, and then they believed that he could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And they didn't. I don't think the whole population knew what they did with the 6 million Jews. I think somebody knew.
It's a horrible thing.
But I don't think they told the population in general. Certainly the military would have known, but at that time, in 44, 45, the country was starving itself. It was all bombed to pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, even London was bombed 57 nights in a row. And the only reason...
It's horrible. I can remember my brother being over there. right from the first day. It's sad.
It's scary.
57 nights in a row. I've seen film footage that took a London, whole sections, whole neighborhoods on fire, whole sections, and they bombed for 57 nights in a row. Germany bombed London. They wanted to beat them in a submission, and they were mad because Britain sent a few planes over and dropped a few bombs in Berlin, so they wanted revenge. So they bombed London for 57 nights straight. And they would have won if they had to have stayed at it, but they turned their airplanes on Russia. They would have won if they would have went after the Royal Air Force fields where the planes were. But no, it was a vendetta. It was a personal thing. And they whacked it for 57 nights.
I know, Mom.
It was horrible.
And what did it achieve?
I know.
Not a damn thing was achieved by that. Not a damn thing.
No, it wasn't.
No.
And so many lives lost.
So many lives lost. That's right.
Just
Unfair.
20 to 50 million, perhaps.
Yeah.
For what? What was
I know.
achieved? Nothing was achieved.
Nothing.
Anyway, thank you. I'm going to leave you now. And I want to thank you for your time.
Well, I want to thank you. You
You're
taught me
very
something
special,
today, too.
special lady. And I'm privileged. I'm privileged to be able to talk.
Now I want you to have a cookie.
Cookie? Cookie?
Is that off now?
It is if you want it to be.
Oh, Mom, you're funny.